Let's talk about personal development, that extraordinary adventure. I started mine at age 25 and I've never stopped. Even today, I want to get better. I want my craft, my business, my skills, everything I do to improve. Because once I understood this simple formula, I knew where the problem was and I knew how to fix it. And when I talk about personal development, I always start with money. Not because money is everything, but because it's a place to start. Money is something you can count. It's a reflection of the value you bring. So if you want more, become more. That's the secret. Growth is never found in the easy, the routine, or the comfortable. Most people spend their whole lives avoiding difficulty. They say, I just want things to be easier. But wishing for an easier life won't make you stronger. The key isn't to wish for less challenge. It's to become more capable. Instead of avoiding hard decisions, start embracing them. Instead of staying in the same place, push yourself into the unknown. That's where your next level of success is waiting. I remember when I was starting out, I wasn't the smartest, the most skilled, or the best connected person in the room, but I had one thing, a willingness to push myself beyond my limits. I read books that were above my understanding. I surrounded myself with people who were ahead of me, even when it made me feel small. I took risks that scared me because I knew staying comfortable meant staying the same. And little by little, I got better, I became more, and as I became more, I attracted more opportunities. This is how it works. Every day you have a choice to stay where you are or to stretch. And if you're serious about success, you need to start stretching daily. It could be something as simple as reading 10 pages of a book that challenges your thinking. It could be starting that business you've been afraid of. It could be making a phone call you've been avoiding. The key isn't the size of the action, it's the habit of pushing beyond comfort. The wealthy don't become successful by accident. They get there because they refuse to stay the same. They look at every challenge as an opportunity. They see every obstacle as a chance to grow. And most importantly, they take action. If you want a different life, start stretching. Stretch your mind by learning new ideas. Stretch your skills by practicing things that feel difficult. Stretch your courage by taking action even when you're afraid. The more you do this, the more capable you become. And when you become more, you attract more. That's the formula for success. It's not magic, it's not luck. It's simply the decision to keep growing, to keep pushing, and to keep expanding beyond what feels comfortable. Because here's the truth. Success isn't waiting for you inside your comfort zone. It's waiting on the other side of your fears, your doubts, and your excuses. The question is, are you willing to go there? Your mind is like a factory producing thoughts, ideas, and decisions that shape your life. The quality of what you produce depends entirely on what you feed it. If you feed your mind distractions, entertainment, and excuses, it will produce a life of limitations. But if you feed it knowledge, wealth-building knowledge, it will start producing ideas, strategies, and actions that lead to financial success. Most people spend their time consuming things that don't serve them. They watch hours of television, scroll through meaningless content, and listen to people who have never built anything. Then they wonder why they're stuck. The wealthy, on the other hand, treat knowledge like an investment. They understand that what goes into their mind determines what comes out in their life. That's why they read books on business, study financial strategies, and learn from those who have already achieved success. Imagine two people. One spends an hour every day reading about wealth building, learning about investment strategies and financial principles. The other spends that same hour watching TV or browsing social media. Fast forward a year. One has a mind full of powerful knowledge, ready to take action. The other is in the same place, wondering why success hasn't come to them. Every day, you have a choice. You can feed your mind with ideas that make you rich, or you can let distractions keep you broke. If you want to increase your value, start by increasing your knowledge. Read about wealth, study the habits of successful people, and learn how money works. If you don't, you'll always be at the mercy of those who do. I remember when I first started, I had no financial education. I didn't understand money, I didn't know how to build wealth, and I certainly didn't have the habits of the rich. But I made a decision. I decided to learn. I read books, listened to successful people, and absorbed every piece of knowledge I could find. And little by little, everything started to change. My thinking changed, my decisions changed, and eventually my financial situation changed. This is how it works. Knowledge is the foundation of wealth. Without it, you'll make the same mistakes that keep most people struggling. You'll spend instead of invest. You'll trade time for money instead of building assets. You'll look for security instead of opportunity. But when you understand how money works, you make your way to financial independence. So here's the challenge. Every single day, commit to learning. Read 10 pages of a book on success. Listen to a podcast that teaches business principles. Study a new financial strategy. Surround yourself with people who are ahead of you. If you do this consistently, in 1 year, you won't recognize yourself. You'll think differently, act differently, and attract new opportunities. The truth is, wealth isn't just about money. It's about knowledge. The more you learn, the more you earn. The people who stay broke aren't unlucky. They're simply uninformed. And the people who build wealth aren't always the smartest. They're just the most committed to learning. So ask yourself, what are you feeding your mind? Are you filling it with distractions, or are you filling it with the knowledge that will set you free? Because in the end, you're either growing or you're staying the same. And staying the same means staying broke. Wealth isn't built by luck, it's built by discipline. Daily, consistent discipline with money. The difference between those who stay broke and those who build wealth comes down to one thing: how they manage their money. Most people get paid, they spend on what they want, and then if anything is left, they save a little. But the wealthy, they do the exact opposite. They invest first, they save second, and they only spend what remains. That one simple shift changes everything. Financial discipline starts with understanding that every dollar has a purpose. You either put your money to work for you or you let it slip away. The problem is most people don't control their money. Money controls them. They let emotions, impulses, and habits dictate their spending. They buy things they don't need, upgrade their lifestyle too soon instead of long-term security. And then, when a crisis hits, they have nothing. The wealthy think differently. They understand that financial success isn't about how much you make, it's about how much you keep and how well you use it. You could make $1 million a year, but if you spend $1,000,001, you're still broke. Meanwhile, someone earning far less but managing their money wisely can build wealth over time. The key is simple. Pay yourself first. Before you pay bills, before you spend on entertainment, before you buy anything unnecessary, invest in your future. Imagine two people earning the same salary. One spends without thinking, upgrading their lifestyle every time they get a raise. The other follows a simple rule: 30% of every dollar goes toward their future. Investments, savings, and growth. Fast forward 10 years, and the spender is still living paycheck to paycheck, wondering why they never got ahead. The disciplined one, however, has assets, investments, and financial security. They don't worry about emergencies. They don't panic when the economy shifts. They have options. It takes discipline to do this. It takes saying no to unnecessary expenses today so you can say yes to financial freedom tomorrow. It takes delaying gratification, choosing to build wealth instead of looking rich. The problem is most people want to appear successful before they actually are. They finance cars they can't afford, buy homes too early, and spend money just to impress people. But the wealthy, they understand that real success is built in private, through smart financial choices, long before it ever shows on the outside. So here's the challenge. Every single day, practice financial discipline. Track where your money goes. Set aside a portion of everything you earn for investments. Stop making emotional financial decisions. Before you buy anything, ask yourself, is this making me richer or is this keeping me broke? Because the truth is, you are either buying your future freedom or you're paying for your future struggles. The best part? Financial discipline isn't about deprivation. It's about empowerment. When you control your money, you control your life. You're not stressed about bills. You're not living in fear of the next emergency. You're building a future where money works for you instead of you always working for money. It doesn't happen overnight. But the moment you start making wealth-building decisions daily, your future changes. The moment you stop living for the short term and start thinking long term, you step onto the path that leads to financial freedom. Wealth is not about income. It's about habits. And the habit of financial discipline will separate you from the 97% who struggle their entire lives. So ask yourself, are you managing your money or is your money managing you? Because in the end, wealth isn't built by chance, it's built by choice. The people you spend the most time with will determine where you end up in life. Success isn't just about what you do, it's about who you surround yourself with. Look around, your conversations, your mindset, your beliefs, they're all being influenced by the people in your circle. If you're surrounded by complainers, guess what? You'll start complaining too. If you're surrounded by excuse makers, you'll find yourself making excuses. If you spend your time with people who settle for less, eventually you'll lower your own standards. Success leaves clues, and so does failure. The wealthy understand this, which is why they are very careful about their associations. They don't let negative, lazy, or uninspired people drain their energy. Instead, they choose to be around winners, people who push them, challenge them, and demand more from them. It's a hard truth, but you have to be willing to cut off relationships that are holding you back. That doesn't mean you stop caring about people. It doesn't mean you treat anyone with disrespect. But it does mean you stop giving your time and energy to those who don't add value to your life. Time is your most precious asset. If you spend it with people who waste it, you're throwing away your future. There's a simple rule. If you want to be successful, spend time with people who are ahead of you. If you're the smartest, most ambitious person in your circle, you're in the wrong circle. You should be learning from those who have achieved more, who think bigger, who demand more from life. Have you ever noticed how successful people tend to attract each other? It's because they understand the power of association. They seek out mentors, they join mastermind groups, they surround themselves with individuals who inspire them to reach higher. If you want to build wealth, spend time with people who are financially successful. If you want to be disciplined, spend time with those who have strong habits. If you want to develop a winning mindset, surround yourself with those who think and act like winners. Practical example, imagine you have two friends. One talks about their problems all the time, blames the government, complains about the economy, and never takes action. The other talks about opportunities, shares new ideas, and pushes you to take action. Who do you think will have a greater impact on your future? It's obvious. One drains your energy, the other multiplies it. Now, multiply that by years, and you'll see why so many people never grow. They're stuck in a circle that holds them down. Making this shift isn't easy. Some relationships will end. Some people will accuse you of being arrogant or thinking you're better than them. But the truth is, you're not leaving them behind. They're choosing to stay where they are. The moment they decide to grow, they can join you. But you can't wait for them. You have one life, and you can't afford to waste it. It's not just about removing the wrong people. It's also about actively finding the right ones. Seek out successful people. Read their books, listen to their wisdom, attend their events, find mentors, build relationships with those who are already living the life you want. The more you do this, the more your mindset will shift, your standards will rise, your expectations will increase. You'll start thinking bigger, acting with more confidence, and attracting success in ways you never imagined. Because success isn't just about hard work. It's about smart positioning. Put yourself in the right environment and success becomes inevitable. So ask yourself, who in your life is pushing you to be better? Who is challenging you to grow? Who is helping you create the future you want? And if you don't like the answer, it's time to make a change. Because in the end, your network. Success doesn't come to those who wait. It comes to those who move. Every dream, every goal, every financial breakthrough is waiting on the other side of action. Thinking rich, talking about success, and making plans mean nothing if you don't back it up with action. The wealthy understand this. They don't waste time waiting for the perfect moment. They create the moment. They move. The difference between those who win and those who stay stuck isn't intelligence. It's not luck. It's not even talent. It's action. While one person is still researching, still thinking, still waiting for the stars to align, someone else has already started. They've already made mistakes, learned, adjusted, and gained ground. That's why the rich get richer, because they don't let fear, doubt, or perfectionism slow them down. They take aggressive daily action toward their financial goals. Look around and you'll see it everywhere. The person who talks about starting a business for years but never does. The one who keeps saying they'll invest when the timing is better. The one who wants to write a book, launch a product, or develop a skill but never takes the first step. Meanwhile, someone else with less knowledge, less talent, and fewer resources just goes for it and wins. Because action beats potential every single time. Think about the greatest success stories. They didn't wait for everything to be perfect. They started where they were with what they had. They took the risk knowing they might fail, but also knowing they would learn. That's the mindset you need. You don't wait until you have all the answers. You don't wait for permission. You don't wait until it's comfortable. You just move. Set a financial goal and then take a step toward it every single day. Not once a week, not when you feel like it. Every day. Make that investment, even if it's small. Start that business, even if you're unsure. Sell that idea, even if it scares you. The poor hesitate, waiting for the right time. The rich take action and figure things out along the way. It doesn't have to be a massive step. Maybe today you open a brokerage account and invest your first $100, 0 cents. Maybe you call that client you've been putting off. Maybe you launch the first version of your product, even if it's not perfect. Maybe you wake up an hour earlier to study wealth building strategies. Whatever it is, you do something, because action creates momentum. The first step leads to the second leads to the third, and before you know it, you've built something real. You've made progress. You've gained experience. And that's when opportunities start opening up. When you're in motion. The biggest lie people tell themselves is that they'll start someday. Someday when they have more money. Someday when they have more time. Someday when they're more confident. But someday never comes. The only time you have is now. The wealthy understand this, which is why they don't wait for life to hand them an opportunity. They take it. It's a simple rule. If you want results, you must take action, not once, not occasionally, daily. You don't get rich by thinking about it. You get rich by doing. And if you're not willing to take action every day, someone else will, and they'll get the success that could have been yours. So ask yourself, what have you been putting off? What action have you been avoiding? What's the one thing you can do today that moves you toward your financial goals? Whatever it is, do it now, not later, not tomorrow, now. Because success isn't waiting. And neither should you. Money is a tool. It can work for you or it can rule over you. The choice is yours. The wealthy understand this, which is why they treat money with discipline, strategy, and purpose. They don't see money as something to spend. They see it as something to grow. They put their money into assets, businesses, real estate, investments, things that produce more money. The poor, on the other hand, let money control them. They spend it as fast as it comes in. They trade it for things that lose value. They stay stuck in a cycle of working for money instead of making money work for them. If you don't master money, you will always be a slave to it. That's the reality. If you're spending every dollar you earn, if you're constantly in debt, if you're always wondering where your money went, then you're not in control. Money is controlling you. But the good news is you can change that. You can decide today to take charge of your finances. You can decide to stop being a spender and start being an investor. The first step is to track your money. Every dollar needs a job. If you don't know where your money is going, you can't control it. They know exactly what they earn, what they spend, and where their money is working for them. The poor avoid looking at their bank accounts because they're afraid of what they'll see. But ignorance doesn't make money problems disappear. It makes them worse. So every day, track where your money goes and ask yourself, is this money helping me get richer or keeping me stuck? Once you track your money, the next step is to direct it into wealth building. That means saving with a purpose, investing with intelligence, and spending with discipline. The poor spend first and save whatever is left, if anything. The rich invest first and spend what's left. That's the difference. Look at how the wealthy build their money. They put it into assets. They buy stocks, not just stuff. They invest in businesses, not just entertainment. They acquire real estate, not just liabilities. They build things that generate income even while they sleep. The poor, on the other hand, spend on things that depreciate. Fancy cars, expensive clothes, gadgets they don't need. These things make them feel rich for a moment, but in reality, they're making them poorer. Building wealth isn't about how much money you make. It's about how much you keep and multiply. There are plenty of people earning six figures who are still broke because they spend every dollar. And there are people earning much less who are building wealth because they manage money wisely. It's not about income, it's about discipline. Once you start growing your money, you must also protect it. The wealthy don't just make money, they make sure they don't lose it. They insure their assets, they keep an emergency fund. They don't take reckless financial risks. They understand that building wealth takes time, but losing it can happen in an instant. The poor, however, are always one crisis away from financial disaster. One medical bill, one job loss, one unexpected expense, and they're wiped out. Why? Because they never planned for it. So if you want to be wealthy, start thinking like the wealthy. Control your money instead of letting it control you. Stop spending on things that don't matter. Stop trading your financial future for momentary pleasures. Start investing in assets. Start making your money work for you. Every single day, ask yourself, did my money go toward wealth building today? If the answer is no, you're not on the path to financial freedom. Make the decision now to take charge of your money, because if you don't, it will take charge of you. Fear is natural. Everyone feels it. But here's the difference. The poor let fear stop them, while the rich turn fear into fuel. The poor hesitate, overthink, and talk themselves out of opportunities. The rich feel the fear, acknowledge it, and then move forward anyway. They understand that success is on the other side of risk, and risk always comes with fear. But here's the key. Fear doesn't mean stop. Fear means go. Go with caution, go with strategy, but go. Fear of failure? Good. That means you're trying something that stretches you. But don't let that fear keep you from acting. The only true failure is never trying. If you take a chance and it doesn't work out, you learn. If you never take the chance, you stay stuck. Every successful person has failed. Every wealthy person has lost money, made bad investments, or started something that didn't work. The difference is they didn't let failure define them. They took the lesson, adjusted their approach, and kept moving. That's the mindset you need. Fear of investing? It's understandable. If you've never invested before, it seems risky. But what's the bigger risk? Investing and learning, or never investing and staying broke? The key is to start small. If you're afraid of putting your money into something, educate yourself. Read about investments. Learn how money works. Start with a small amount and gain experience. The rich don't just throw their money around. They take smart risks. They study, they analyze, and then they act. Fear of taking a leap, that's the fear that keeps most people trapped in jobs they don't like, in businesses that don't grow, in lives they don't want. Why? Because stepping into the unknown is uncomfortable. But think about this. What's scarier? Taking a leap and possibly failing, or staying where you are and never growing? The rich understand that the biggest risk in life is not taking one. They know that comfort is the enemy of progress. Fear isn't something to eliminate, it's something to master. The goal isn't to be fearless. The goal is to move forward despite the fear. Train yourself to act in the presence of fear. Make it a habit. Every day, push yourself to do something that scares you. Speak up in that meeting. Start that business. Make that investment. Introduce yourself to that person who could change your future. Action is the only thing that weakens fear. The more you do, the stronger you become. Think of the most successful people in history. They didn't get there by playing it safe. They stepped into uncertainty. They took chances. They embraced risk. If you want success, you must do the same. The rich don't have fewer fears than the poor. They just refuse to let those fears control their decisions. They understand that hesitation kills more dreams than failure ever could. So ask yourself, what fear is stopping you right now? What opportunity are you avoiding because it makes you uncomfortable? What risk should you take that you've been putting off? Make the decision today. Don't let fear control you. Use it. Let it push you forward instead of holding you back, because in the end, the only thing worse than failure is regret. Most people are trapped in a cycle. They wake up, go to work, trade their time for a paycheck, and repeat the process for 40 years. Then one day they realize their time is gone, their money is limited, and their freedom never arrived. That's the paycheck mentality. It's the idea that the only way to earn is to work more hours, get a raise, or hope for a promotion. But here's the truth. As long as your income is tied to the hours you work, your wealth will always be limited. The wealthy don't think like that. They don't work just to earn. They work to own. They don't ask, how much can I make per hour? They ask, how can I create something that pays me even when I'm not working? The difference between the rich and the poor isn't effort. It's strategy. The poor trade their time for money. The rich build systems, invest in assets, and create income streams that keep growing. Imagine two people. One works hard at a job, earns a paycheck, and spends what he makes. The other also works hard, but instead of spending everything, he takes a portion and invests it. He starts a business. He buys real estate. He builds an asset that makes him money. 10 years later, the first person still relies on his paycheck. If he stops working, the money stops. The second person, his investments are paying him. His money is working for him. That's the difference between struggling and building wealth. If you want financial freedom, you must break free from the paycheck mentality. You must shift your thinking from, I work to get paid, to I build to create wealth. And here's how you start. First, find a way to earn outside your job. Start a side business. Create something valuable. The internet has made it easier than ever. Write a book, sell a product, offer a service. The goal is to build something that generates income without you having to clock in every day. Second, invest. If you're spending every dollar you make, you're working for money, not letting money work for you. The wealthy take a portion of what they earn and put it into assets, stocks, real estate, businesses. They buy things that appreciate, that generate income, that grow over time. If you don't know where to start, start small, but start. If you don't invest, you'll always depend on a paycheck. Third, focus on ownership. The rich don't just earn, they own. They own stocks, they own businesses, they own property. Ownership is how wealth is built. When you own, your money works for you. When you don't, you work for money. If you're only working for a paycheck, someone else owns the business, the system, the asset. You're working to build their wealth, not yours. It's time to change that. And finally, understand this. Security comes from financial independence. People think a job gives them security, but what happens if the company lets you go? What happens if the economy shifts? When you only have one income source, you're always one decision away from financial struggle. The wealthy don't live like that. They create multiple streams of income so they're never dependent on one source. So ask yourself, are you working just to earn, or are you building to own? Are you spending everything you make, or are you putting money into assets that will pay you in the future? Are you relying on one paycheck, or are you creating new income streams? The choice is yours. But if you want true financial freedom, you must break free from the paycheck mentality. Stop thinking like an employee and start thinking like an owner. Because the day you stop trading time for money is the day you start building real wealth. Most people live their lives waiting for the right time, the right opportunity, the right person to give them a chance. But the truth is, no one is coming to hand you success. No one is going to give you permission to be rich. The wealthy don't wait, they decide. Every single day they wake up and choose to think big, act bold, and take control of their future. Success isn't something that happens by accident. It's a decision made over and over again until it becomes a way of life. It starts in the mind. The way you think shapes everything. If you see yourself as struggling, as limited, as undeserving of wealth, that belief will show up in your actions. You'll hesitate, you'll doubt, you'll let opportunities pass by. But the wealthy see themselves differently. They expect success. They don't hope to win, they know they will. And because they believe it, they act accordingly. They raise their standards, and life rises to meet them. Look at the decisions you're making every day. Are they moving you toward wealth or keeping you stuck? The poor take the easy road, spending instead of investing, waiting instead of acting, making excuses instead of making moves. The rich make powerful choices. They invest in themselves. They build relationships with the right people. They take risks when others hesitate. Every single day, they do something that brings them closer to success. Imagine two people standing at a crossroads. One says, I'll start when I have more money. I'll take action when I'm more prepared. The other says, I start now. I learn as I go. I figure it out along the way. One stays stuck, the other moves forward. 10 years later, the first person is still making the same excuses. The second person, they've built wealth, created opportunities, and changed their life. The only difference was the decision to act. If you want to be rich, start thinking like it. Stop waiting. Stop hesitating. Stop asking for permission. Act like you belong at the top. Speak with confidence. Walk with purpose. Make the hard decisions that others avoid. The world doesn't reward indecision. It rewards those who claim what's theirs. And here's the key. Wealth isn't just about money. It's a mindset. It's a way of living. The rich take care of their health because they know energy matters. They surround themselves with winners because they know ignorance is expensive. They are intentional about every part of their lives. You must train yourself to think, act, and live like you deserve to win. Every morning, decide that today you will take steps towards success. Read something that expands your mind. Take action on an idea. Put yourself in rooms where wealth is being created. Speak like a winner. Move like a winner. Decide that failure is not an option. Because here's the truth. You don't get what you want in life. You get what you demand. You don't get wealth by hoping for it. You get it by making the daily decision to earn it, build it, and claim it. Success is a choice. Make it every day. Wealth isn't just about money, it's about mindset. And the wealthiest people understand something that most overlook. Gratitude and generosity are the keys to attracting more success. The poor focus on what they lack. The rich focus on what they have and how they can use it to create more. Every single day, they take a moment to acknowledge their blessings, no matter how small, and they find ways to add value to others. Because here's the truth. When you live in a mindset of abundance, more opportunities come your way. Most people believe they need more before they can be grateful. They say, I'll be happy when I make more money. I'll give when I have extra. But that's the wrong approach. Gratitude isn't a result of success. It's the foundation of it. If you can't appreciate what you have now, why would life give you more? When you train your mind to see abundance instead of lack, you attract more wealth, more opportunities, and more success. Think about two people in business. One complains about slow sales, tight budgets, and lack of opportunities. The other appreciates every customer, finds ways to deliver more value, and looks for creative ways to grow. Who do you think succeeds? The one who focuses on what they have and how they can multiply it. Because when you operate with gratitude, you start seeing possibilities instead of problems. And then there's generosity. The poor hold on to every dollar, afraid they won't have enough. The rich understand that money flows. The more you give, whether it's your time, knowledge, or resources, the more comes back to you. Not because of luck, but because giving creates value. And value is what builds wealth. Look at the most successful people. They don't just take, they contribute. They mentor others. They invest in people. They create opportunities. And what happens? Their influence grows, their network expands, their wealth multiplies. Because life rewards those who create value. But generosity isn't just about money. It's about impact. Every day ask yourself, how can I contribute? How can I help someone move forward? How can I create more value? It could be as simple as sharing knowledge, making an introduction, or offering encouragement. The more you give, the more life gives back. If you want to attract success, start practicing gratitude and generosity daily. Appreciate what you have. Find ways to create value. Train your mind to see abundance instead of lack. Because when you do, wealth stops being something you chase and starts being something that naturally flows to you. Life doesn't hand out success to those who wait. It doesn't reward hesitation, fear, or excuses. It rewards those who decide, those who take action, those who commit to growth, and those who refuse to settle. If you want to be rich, if you want to attract success, you have to stop waiting and start becoming the person who deserves it. Because the truth is, wealth is not about luck, it's not about background, it's not even about talent. It's about who you become. Right now you have a choice. You can keep doing what you've always done. Wake up, go to work, complain about your circumstances and hope that things get better someday. Or you can take control. You can make the decision that most people never make, to develop a rich mindset, to take daily action, and to refuse to accept anything less than success. Most people will never do this. They'll stay trapped in the same cycle, blaming the economy, blaming their boss, blaming their past. But you're not most people. You're here because something inside you knows that you are meant for more. And let me tell you, if you change, everything will change for you. Not in a year, not in 5 years, right now. The moment you shift your mindset, the moment you start thinking and acting like a winner, you set a new course for your life. So what does that mean for you? It means you stop making excuses. It means you stop waiting for the right time. It means you stop surrounding yourself with people who hold you back. It means you get serious about your success. You push yourself beyond comfort. You feed your mind with knowledge. You discipline yourself financially. You take aggressive daily action. You break free from paycheck thinking. You live every day like someone who deserves to win. Because here's the reality. Wealth isn't about working harder. It's about thinking smarter. It's about making decisions that build your future instead of just surviving the present. It's about stepping up, taking risks, and creating opportunities. It's about becoming the kind of person who attracts success instead of chasing it. Ask yourself right now, are you living the life you know you're capable of? Are you playing it safe, hoping that one day things will change? Because if you're waiting, you're losing. The rich don't wait. The successful don't wait. They move. They take action. They create results. And if you want to be one of them, you have to start now. There's no magic formula, no shortcuts. Just a decision to stop thinking like the 98% who struggle and start thinking like the 2% who win. A decision to commit to growth, to wealth-building habits, to discipline, to action. A decision to stop talking about success and start living it. And let me tell you, once you start, everything changes. You start seeing opportunities where others see problems. You start making money work for you instead of working for money. You start attracting success instead of chasing it. And before you know it, you become the kind of person who never has to worry about money again. The kind of person who lives on their own terms. The kind of person who wins. So here's my challenge to you. Don't leave this message inspired but unchanged. Inspiration is worthless without action. Right now, decide, what's the first step you'll take today? Will you start a side business? Will you invest in yourself? Will you finally break free from small thinking and start surrounding yourself with winners? Whatever it is, take action today. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Because success isn't something you wait for, it's something you claim. And if you don't claim it, someone else will. It's time to wake up. It's time to step up. It's time to make the choice that changes everything. Your future is waiting. The only question is, will you take it?